What's up, guys? This is Manafest. Welcome to another I'm a Fighter podcast. This is episode number 40.
It's too late, it's my fate, I can't turn around. There's no fear in the mirror to hold me down.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another I'm a Fighter podcast where we want to entertain, inspire, and educate. And a fighter isn't someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. It is Canadian Thanksgiving today. I had turkey, I had ham, I had gravy, I had carrots and sweet potatoes that I made, and they were pretty good. We sliced them, we put them in the boiler, boiled them, and then I put them on a pan, and then I put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of cinnamon, and some brown sugar. Put those in the ovens, baby. Oh, they were the hit of the party. It was fun hanging out with family. Earlier this week, I drove across California to Toronto. It was a long drive. We stopped in New Mexico for a show, played a show in Farmington, and it was awesome. So much fun. You guys rocked it. It was just... hearing the stories was just always inspiring. I got to meet the lady that inspired the book, The Vow. It's basically her story that became a movie and this really big deal, and I had no idea. I got to post the Instagram photo to kind of make it look like I'm a big deal, like I know people or something. But yeah, that was really cool. And we went through Colorado, Omaha, stopped in there, went to the old market. That was really cool. And long drive. Tire almost popped, saw crazy road rage. It is good to be home. I don't want to drive for a long time again. I wish we planned it a little bit better so there wasn't such a long drive, but we were pulling my car by my tour van, and we rented this U-Haul from U-Haul, and no problems. It was all good. Got through the border, no problem. So that was really good, and just thank God that I am home and stoked, man. Got to do some work and got inspired and ready to attack it this week. I apologize. That's why this podcast is a little late. I have something I really want to get into. Before I do that, I just want to remind you guys, The Moment has been out 2 months. We're shooting a music video for Diamonds, featuring my buddy Trevor from 1000 Foot Crutch. Hopefully going to have that out to you guys before the end of the year. Brand new Cage shirt that you definitely want to check out. And of course, if you have not picked up the Fighter book, go to fighterbook.net and pick that up on Amazon or the store. We got a really cool deal going on in that, which somewhat inspires this podcast, which I think you guys are really going to like. It's called How I Quit My Job and Started Living My Dream. So let's jump into it. For those that you don't know, before I did music full-time as an actual career, like, hey, I looked in the mirror the other day and I rap and sing for a living, and that's crazy because I failed music in school. I always like to say God likes to take the most unlikely people and do amazing things with them. I had an IT job. Some of you know my story. I lost my dad to suicide when I was 5 years old. I don't talk about that at all lightly, but there's an amazing man that came into my life and taught me computers. And so in high school, I took co-op to fix computers and different stuff and got really good at it. I had to wear this kind of dress shirt with tie, but I also had camouflage pants on. I looked really funny, but I was into computers. I built my first one when I was 14, 15. My buddy just taught me a lot of stuff and just encouraged me, and I just, found them really naturally. I took a keyboarding course at high school and even went to a contest for the class and for the school. I guess I didn't win, but I got picked because I guess I was a fast typer. I know, you guys are shocked, okay? Anyway, so long story short, I go to college. After that, I actually was planning on just becoming pro skateboarding, but I hurt myself, and so I had nothing to do. So not only did I start writing music, I also went to this computer college and got a degree in networking technologies. And I'm like the youngest kid, okay? I look like flipping Doogie Howser, all right? And I graduate there, top of the class. I get a job right out of there for this company. I was like an on-site field technician fixing computers. I'd show up at these huge corporate offices having to fix servers and all this computer stuff. And I was young, man, and I looked young, and I was intimidated, but I learned really quick. I read books, I asked questions, and I quickly jumped up the company, got paid a lot more. They sent me to this company 3 days a week to be their on-site kind of computer guy, and they liked me so much that they bought me from that company. And they were paying me good money, man. First year just working out there, I jumped up to $50,000 a year, and it was just like, whoa, living at home, making all this money, and I could just put it into my music career, which is what I always tell artists to do, is just funnel your money you're making. Don't quit your job too soon, man. You want to take that money and put it into your career. Get your website going, get your demo done, invest in your music, tour, play shows, build your platform, build your brand before you just jump and quit your job, okay? Excuse me, I'm coughing here. I'm getting a little excited here. And so I have this job, it's great, worked there for about 5 years. Eventually, I went from 5 days a week to 4 days a week to 3 days a week to leave of absences, and then I quit my job. And I'll never forget, it was scary asking my boss for Fridays off so that I could work on my dream more. I was already working it hard at night. I was working it on the weekends, playing shows. I would use up all my vacation time, not to go on vacation, but to play shows and to tour. I was investing everything I possibly could into my dream. I was building my dream, building my platform, chasing after this thing, and it honestly allowed me to take some risks. A guy that kind of consulted me, semi-managed me back in the day, I remember I was always complaining, be like, dude, I want to be full-time, I want to be full-time, I want to be doing my dream full-time. And he's like, dude, you don't get it, man. Like, you're making all this money, you're doing so good, you can, fund your career right now and really build it. Don't jump too soon, man. You should be really thankful. And that always kind of struck a chord with me to think yeah, maybe I should be, more thankful and just keep working at it. Because you know what? When I did quit my job, which I did when I got signed with Tooth and Nail Records, and it wasn't just getting signed that made me quit. I remember I had a manager that I was going to sign with, and I asked him, I said, hey, I need this amount of money to pay my bills. Can you do this? And I remember him saying, oh yeah, no problem, man, no problem. And, I talked to my lawyer about it and got some advice. And you know what? I'll never forget in the office calling my buddy, who was the one who taught me computers, who's kind of a father figure to me, and saying, man, what do I do here? Should I do this? This is crazy. Quit my job? And he's like, Chris, you don't want to be looking back at your life wondering, what if? What if you never quit your job? You'd never know. What if you never, jumped and took the leap of faith? And I didn't want to have that question be in the back of my mind, wrestling with that, wondering if I never quit my job. I'd never be where I am today. Yeah, my company took me on company trips, but I've been to over 17, 18 countries. I've seen the world. Going to Russia for the first time, and Ukraine this December, and Germany, and just all over the world. And I was like, wow. And when I did quit my job, I almost went broke the first 3 months because the manager I had hired did not know what he was doing. And when you think about it, why would I hire somebody who is making less money than me to manage my career? I look back at that now and I'm like, that wasn't very intelligent, man. I was still living out of his, mom's house. I think at that point I was married. I had my own condo now, and I was doing really well. So it's why was I taking advice from this dude? I think I was just so hungry and just wanted to do music so bad. I just jumped and went for it. And I'll be honest, I'll never forget. I had a roommate for a little while, and my roommate was a hardcore hockey fan. Okay, Maple Leafs hardcore, and he had the toilet paper roll was made out of a cut in half ice skate. I remember our towel rack was made out of hockey sticks, and of course the shower curtain was the Maple Leafs. This guy was hardcore. Anyways, I had a roommate, and I remember even before I quit my job when I went down to 4 days a week, and I remember some days having those Fridays off, and I didn't have shows. And I was just sitting there and I was writing at home, and I remember just getting writer's block sometimes, and sometimes being so frustrated, just punching things and just wanting to be farther in my dream than I was, and just kind of oh, why am I not farther? And I remember just trying to get this dream out. I wanted it so badly, and I remembered it was lonely. And that's something we don't realize as entrepreneurs, as artists, as musicians, as leaders. Leadership is loneliness sometimes. Sometimes you feel like you're on your own. And you know what? Sometimes we are. It's just the truth. There's not everybody that's trying to do what we're trying to do. And you got to fight. You got to push through. You got to push through those writer's block. You got to push through those times you feel alone. And at the same time, surround yourself with good people. I thank God I was going to a good church that time, and they were inspiring me and staying plugged in. And my girlfriend, at the time is my wife now, was so helpful and so encouraging and just being like, yeah, keep going, you know? And so giving you a little bit of the background process here, it didn't happen overnight. It was over a series of years. And I thank God for the job that I had for a certain amount of time to allow me to get some music made and all these things done and give me some time to grow. Now, sometimes when you're handed success, you're handed stuff too early, it destroys you. And I've seen it happen so many times with other artists and people, no matter what your career is, whether it's not music, it's something completely else. If you have too much success too early, your character is not ready to handle it, you know, especially when a large amount of money comes into play. You know, you end up wasting it and just destroying your life. And so I encourage you out there, man, if you're looking to want to quit your job, you know, make a plan. Because that was the other thing too, when I went down to 4 days a week and 3. You know what? I had a big shock that there wasn't as much money coming in. So I was getting paid good, man. All of a sudden that income is chopped in half. And it's like, oh, you know, and I realized how important that was. And so if you're going to quit your job, you got to look at your expenses. How much money do you need to pay your bills? Like, let's get practical here. How much do you need? Well, then you need to make sure that you can at least make what you're making doing your dream or whatever it is, your career that you want to do outside of your job. If you're going to quit that job, how are you going to supplement it? How are you going to keep making the money? Are you going to be able to, you know, get to that point where you can supplement it and then make the money you're losing? Because I wasn't really getting paid for shows as much, and we weren't selling as much CDs and different things. I didn't have the dream fully built yet. And so that's really important, because there's nothing, like I say in the Fighter book, and I talk about some of this stuff in the Fighter book, it goes into more detail, is that there's nothing that'll stress you out more chasing your dream than this financial nagging in the back of your head, saying like, oh, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to get this done? Oh, I don't have the money for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to have the money to just pay for your dream and get things done. You know, so maybe you need to cut off something else. Maybe you don't need to cut your job off so quickly. Maybe you need to cut cable. And I'm not talking about cable internet. I'm talking about cable like TV. Talking about, you know, maybe not eating out as much or bringing a lunch or finding different things to cut back so you can invest in your dream. Lower your lifestyle. If you got a really good job, you got this crazy, amazing car, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's got this huge payment on it or whatever. Why not just lower down and pay a car cash? You don't have that car payment, get a not so nice car, but something that's good, reliable, you know? I don't have a fancy car. Some people will be surprised what I drive, but I'm investing in my dream still. It's still important to me. You know, having a flashy car isn't, you know, it's nice. You know, I like it. I don't have like a, you know, an unreliable car, but I have a good car. It's whatever, but it's not like super fancy Mercedes, BMW. One day I want to have one of those, you know, but I'm investing in my dream, you know. And one of the things too, I just want to share before we close off this podcast is there's something a lot more a painful emotion than pain. It's regret. Let me say that again. There's something a lot more painful than going through the tough times and the sacrifice and maybe, you know, not having what you want right now. It's regret. Regret in the back of your mind, that sucks, you know. And so I would rather go through the pain. I'd rather go through the discipline. I'd rather go through the perseverance and keep fighting as opposed to having that feeling of regret, wondering, what if? I don't know where you're at right now. But I know that it doesn't happen overnight, and I know it's worth fighting for, and you just can't quit. You know, you don't know when it's just around the corner, and you want to surround yourself with really good people. And I'm going to be releasing a course soon. It's going to be smartmusicbusiness.com. It's not up yet, but I have that Launching Your Career as an Artist. We're relaunching that really soon, which is going to help other artists and teach some music business and all that stuff to help you launch your career and launch your dream and do some like talk about social media marketing, some really cool stuff. And I'm going to be doing more stuff, more audios. If you haven't listened to the Do the Impossible message, check that out on iTunes. But, you know, keep listening to podcasts. Keep listening to podcasts like this and others that'll inspire you and give you ideas to get your brain turning about your dream. And at the same time, you got to give it to God. You know, if God's called you to do this, then He'll give you the skills and the abilities. You just got to step out and you got to take action and ask Him to give you wisdom. You know, I always say to people, man, the reason I believe in Christianity is because it's just helped me. It's been a light under my path, you know, to illuminate where I'm walking, you know. And you know, if God is for me, who could be against me? If God is for you, who could be against you? And the Bible works, and Jesus is for you. He's not against you. And you put him first place, he'll connect you to your dreams. You know, tithing, all that stuff. I could get into so much stuff. There's so much things I could go on. I could do a whole course and audio hours about this. But hey, I hope this has inspired you. I hope it's encouraged you. If you're digging this podcast, please review it, man. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from you guys, man. And it helps to get the rankings go up so more people see this podcast and share it with other people, you know. And I'm just so stoked. I'm honored that you guys would listen to me. And thank you so much. Thank you everybody who's supported and picked up the moment, or you're rocking it on YouTube or Spotify, or however you're, digesting the music. I just thank you guys so much. Gonna have some new music coming out in January already. Yeah! And just so much cool stuff going on. So I love you guys. I believe in you. Remember, a fighter isn't someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. Let's play the Fighter remix right here.
I thought I knew it all, but I didn't. I thought I seen